The full-scale invasion of Ukraine by the Russian army in February 2022 was the beginning of a war that Europe had not experienced since World War II. Ukrainians knew, as long as there is defense forces, there is Ukraine.
Among state and public institutes, the most trusted are the armed forces of Ukraine. 90% of respondents trust them. Volunteer organizations, 81%. Volunteer battalions, 80%. The State Emergency Service, 79%. The National Guard of Ukraine, 75%. The State Border Service, 71%. From the poll of the Razumkov Center under the USAID program, published on the website of the think tank on June 25, 2024.
Even before February 2022, during 8 years of hybrid Russian aggression, the Ukrainian army proved that it can defend the country from the stronger enemy. And after the start of Russia's full-scale invasion, it has shown its ability not only to successfully defend itself, but also to plan and carry out large-scale offensive operations, including on the territory of the Federation. Western battlefield practices, new weapons, and approaches to training military personnel. All of this is a reality for the Ukrainian defense forces today.
The Ukrainian army has unique experience in all categories. Destruction of the enemy fleet without having its own. Destruction of the air force in the sky without having a full-fledged aerial defense. Dominance over the enemy on land, imposing its own strategy of fighting, while the enemy has much more manpower, equipment, and so on.
The successes of the Ukrainian army have accelerated the delivery of weapons and equipment by Western partners, from small arms to advanced air defense systems, combat aircraft, and long-range missiles. The arsenal of Ukrainian armed forces has been replenished with modern weapons on a scale that was previously only dreamed of. Ukraine is also increasing its own production of weapons.
Despite very difficult conditions, Ukraine, in the format of a full-scale war, was able to restore the production of a certain number of its means of defeat and fulfilling the defense forces with equipment. This includes lightly armored and medium-armored equipment in the first place. Drones are also a very important indicator. Ukraine is now a leader in the area of naval as well as aerial drones.
At the end of August 2024, the Ukrainian armed forces created a new branch of troops, the Unmanned Systems Forces. Experts say that one of the reasons for the rapid development of this field is that the army was filled with specialists who are far from military service. In the first days of Russia's full-scale invasion of Ukraine, thousands of people queued up at the territorial recruitment centers. Also, since 2022, the number of women in the Ukrainian army has increased significantly, including in combat positions.
The number of women in the armed forces has increased by 23% over the last 3 years. There are now 68,000 women serving in the armed forces, of whom 48,000 are military personnel. A little more than 5,000 women are serving in frontline positions directly in the combat zone.
October 1st is Defenders' Day in Ukraine. This holiday, on the day of the protection of the Blessed Virgin Mary and the Day of Ukrainian Cossacks, was first celebrated in 2015. Then it was called the Day of Defender. Ukrainians pay tribute to those who gave their lives in the struggle for independence. They also thank and congratulate the soldiers and officers of the Ukrainian Defense Forces, all those who defend the country from Russian aggression. Reported by Anastasia Tarnavska, Valeria Nikopelova, UATV News.